Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. So yeah, the music's back because I like music, and even though Facebook decided to mute my video saying that I was using copyright music, um which I wasn't. It was a non-copyright playlist or music playlist, but fair enough. But anyway, um music's back because I do love me some music, and I will um just cut that just in case. I will cut it before we begin. I feel so sad about that. Just in case Facebook decide to be um, extra with the situation, so that we don't have um, any of the training um, cut out. Okay, so it's going to give it a few minutes once again, being kind to those people who could be coming in a bit late. Even myself, today I'm a bit later than I would have liked to be in starting today. I usually like to start about 5 minutes before, but I had the electricity guy around and he just left. Really nice guy. And I was trying to be as nice as possible to get him out. I've got some really beautiful people to help with online business. I was telling him, got to go live soon. So if you could hurry up and get out in the nicest way. Oh, and also, I'm home alone today, which means that the youngest will be coming home from school and ringing a doorbell at some point. So I will have to leave and open a door for him. That will take a few seconds, but will hear a bing bong. So I apologize in advance for that when it does happen. Yes, I agree with you, Jennifer. Um, it's in a nice addition for you. I'm glad, but it's also a nice addition for me as well. It's nice to have some background music, even though if I do turn the music off, I can hear my birds. Well, I say my birds, but the birds chirping outside my window. There's a gang of them. That's also nice. Anyway, what time we got? Okay, but let's get into this. Let's get into this. So, as sad as I am about it, I'm gonna have to stop the music now, and let's get into day 3. Okay, so here we are with day 3 of the 5 days to more online sales. We've been through day 1, your purpose driven goals. We've been through day 2 yesterday, where we talked about business structure, and we had that pretty um, nerve wracking, uncomfortable task of trying to work out um, what a 30k what a 30k product could look like. Bear with just one moment, because I've just gone all kinds of weird stuff's happened here with my screen. Where are we at? Why has that happened? I don't know. It's in Finder. I don't know why it's in Finder. Gosh, that was weird. Because that was in what do you call it? That's because that was in full screen. So yeah, let's get back into the presentation. Cool. So today we're going to be talking about ideal client. So let's go through some important stuff. As always, please do the homework. It's not for me, it's for you. And if you're finding it difficult because you're there by yourself with the questions, I suppose even depending on who you are, you might be in a situation where right, okay, just reading Jennifer's comment there, and I need to turn these off because they'll distract me. I will get to those, but it's important for you to do the homework, because even though it's difficult, I know it's difficult. I've not designed it to be difficult. It's just that there's my son. He's coming in. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Hold on just one moment. I'm going to actually get to him before. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't need to do anything. The back door's open. Okay, cool. So, um, even though the work is difficult, it's not been designed to be difficult. That's not the whole point. It's just that the work is difficult. It's the kind of work people don't do. And then when they're going through all these struggles and they keep on changing projects and they keep on changing niches or they keep on changing what their business is, they keep on trying to find an easier route, but it doesn't make a difference what you do. If you expect to be making thousands, tens of thousands with your business, there's no way your story in the future is going to be, yeah, just set up a website. 2 weeks later, I was making thousands, and I really didn't have to do anything much. I just really just had to fill in some details. It's not inspirational. It's not possible, and I don't think anything that is going to have an impact on the world around you, on your life, and then on the world around you and the lives of others, it's just going to be easy to do, right? There's going to be a certain amount of thinking and thought that goes into it. But I think this kind of work is the most important kind of work you can do when it comes to your business, especially. This kind of work is useless for people who are just trying to make a buck. Okay, even if they're trying to hide it, even if they're lying to themselves. If all you're trying to do is just make some money by selling somebody something or exploiting their situation, this work is absolutely pointless. But if you have a business where you know you have a calling, I use this word, vocation, you have a calling that tells you that you should be doing this, you have to be doing this, that you're bringing something wonderful to the world, then this work is made for you. Because from my go around through the interwebs and through education and so on and so forth, I've not really seen this kind of work being done. I mean, I've seen it in bits and pieces, but what I've tried to do is bring the best of the foundational work together to actually help you build a strong foundation so that we stay away from busy work. Busy work is doing stuff that makes you feel busy, but in actual fact doesn't really get anything done. Okay, so do the homework, and if you are having any troubles trying to get that work done because you just can't get your head around it, or you need help trying to apply it to your business, then do ask questions within the group. Okay, so no point sending me an email about it, um, just because the team won't be able to fill those emails, and answer questions that way. They'll be pushing you towards an actual paid consultation. For this challenge that we've got here, it's important that you put your answers into the group, because that's where you're going to get all the goodness when it comes to the help I can provide you. I've built this for people like yourself. Okay, and as always, information without implementation is worthless, super worthless. Let's get into it. So, as we said, we've been through day one, check, purpose driven goals. We've been through day two, business structure, check. I love that. I love the 30k drop. I absolutely love the 30k drop. When I first learned it, it was just so revolutionary for me. And everything that happened afterwards just made total sense because everything was connected, right? This is the whole point of the work we're doing. Everything's connected. By the time we get to the marketing bit, by the time we get to the you going out into the world bit and actually telling people who you work with, not what you do, but when you go into the world and explain to people who you work with and what you help them do and so on and so forth, your marketing is going to be so much easier. It's going to be so much easier for you because you're not going to have to rely on gimmicks, because you've really done everything based on the human being you're trying to help. Super, super powerful. So today we're dealing with ideal client. So this is what most business owners imagine happens when they launch their business, right? That they build whatever it is they build, they put up their shop, they set out their wares, they launch it, and in their mind, can't deny it, in their mind, it's just that everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, so amazing that you're here, finally, and start throwing money at them, right? That really, after the website's been launched, okay, so that website, it's usually the website, I think. The business card thing, it's not really the same kind of thing. And even when the product itself is being done, Nobody takes the time to do any lead work and going around and have focus groups, sit down with people, showing them the thing, talking to them about it, doing the research or whatever. It usually goes, I've got an idea for a product, I've got an idea for a service, I've got an idea for a business. They don't even go to a company's house, right? So that business won't even be set up as a limited company or a sole trader. It won't be a legal status attached to the business. They'll go straight to the website. And so the website will get done, and it might take a few weeks, it might take months, it could take years. And I'm not talking about startups. I know really established businesses that have taken like hundreds of thousands of pounds. Like I remember one company, they spent £300,000 on a website. £300,000 on a website. It was something like 100 grand for free each year for 3 years. And the website was rubbish. I'm not talking about in a sense of it didn't look good. I'm not talking about it didn't work well. It just wasn't a vehicle for any sort of change. It was really a vanity project, which I absolutely hate. I really am anti vanity projects when it comes to websites and marketing. It's all about the business. We're so amazing. We're so great. Look what we've done. And that is the attitude that gets programmed in people starting businesses, that they will build a website, they'll launch the website, they tell the entourage about it, and then it's supposed to be this kind of chain reaction throughout the world, and then it's supposed to go cha-ching in their bank account. Yeah, that's not what happens, and we know that's not what happens, but that's still what happens to a lot of people. In actual fact, what happens is they end up using the website, social media, talking about themselves, promoting the internal view of the business. And it's no different from going out into, I don't know, Hyde Park, Speaker's Corner or something. There's a whole crowd of people and just, through a megaphone shouting out, yeah, like, who wants to buy this amazing thing? And even though it is an amazing thing, every single person in that crowd will turn to somebody else and be like, is she talking to me? So what happens is the business owner not only just goes out there with the whole expectation that their product is so amazing, people are going to buy it as soon as they see it. And if they don't, it's because it's the wrong price or it's in the wrong website and so on and so forth. They never really, and this is not to do with the website, the business owner is stupid. This is more to do with, this is information that I don't think a lot of people have, especially when they're either starting their business or when they are trying to improve it so that it actually grows a lot easier, right? So they're trying to level up in the business. It's not the kind of work that people want to talk about. It's not the kind of work that is interesting or, as they like to say, sexy for people to be doing, because it's actually really quite a hard graft to do this kind of work, to do this foundational work. So they end up going out and marketing to basically everybody. And because they're marketing to everybody, in actual fact, they're marketing to nobody. Because everybody thinks that they are talking to somebody else. Because that specific person, because all of these people here are individuals, right? But the business owner that's trying to make money, who's going through a survival situation of, I gotta make this money, I've got to pay the bills, this thing's got to work, or I've got to find a job. That kind of panic situation, they go into the market and all they see is a mass of people. That's why people say things like, I do B2B. I work with businesses. And it's like, what do you mean you work with businesses? What do you mean you work with the building? Does the building itself talk to you? And they can't articulate any conversation they have with an actual person, because in actual fact, that's not their focus. Their focus is on a mass of people, because each one of those people equals a certain amount of money. And if I can only get 10 of them to buy, then I've made this amount of money. And so it's just even a probability game, which is another thing that if you work with marketing agencies, marketing consultants, they will also be talking to you about. The more you do something, the more it will work eventually, because of probability, right? The whole idea of numbers, that eventually, like the reason why the lottery is such a big thing. Eventually your number's going to come around if you just carry on doing it. But there's no real strategy in that. There's no real clear plan of action. So rather than talking to everybody and in effect talking to nobody, what you should be doing is ensuring that you are speaking to a specific part of the world, right? Even if everybody got your advertisement on their TV screens at the same time, everybody's got a TV through their phone or whatever it might be, interrupted on their Spotify playlist, they still wouldn't know who you were talking to unless you specifically call out a specific type of person with a specific kind of problem. So, my question to you, and how can I? Oh, that's what I did last time. And why did I do that? Oh God, I did it. I know what I've done. I need to stop doing it. I need to do that. I need to do that. And that's the one. So, now that I've got that done, and that's done, and that's done. Okay, cool. My question to you is, you can answer, it's not really a test, is it? I don't even really want you to answer it. I want you to think about it rather than answer it in the sense of putting it in the comments or anything like that. But my question to you is, who do you work with? That question is even more powerful when you think about the next question, who do you sell to? Don't jump on the answer, just think about it. If you're answering that question, if somebody asks that question and after they hear your answer, they're going to go out and get more of these people, who exactly can you say is that you work with? Because a lot of people, they will start waffling, and the women aged 35 to 55. So what's that supposed to mean? Do you know how big that demographic is? And I guarantee that when I look at your product and I look at that group of women aged between 35 and 55, it's a small part of that actual group who are interested, and has literally not a lot to do with the fact that they're 35 to 55. And maybe because they're women, but that's not enough for you to actually target people. So even when you get to that second question, which is super, super on point to, drive home my point, who do you sell to? Who do you sell to? Or another way of putting it is, who are you trying to sell to? Because if you're being very, very, very honest, without any, fear of any kind of, being told off for your current approach of the way you do things, it's going to fall on, things like, who do you sell to? Well, people who can afford my product. It gets really weak when it becomes things like, who do you sell to? People who like who people who like the nomad lifestyle. Who do you sell to? I sell to new startup businesses. What? Within all of those different things, you don't get an image of an actual person. Not a person you know. So when you now go into the marketplace with that within your mind, within your soul, within your marketing that you're bringing out, even if somebody sees what you do and knows that it's useful, do you know how difficult it is for them to actually go out into their entourage and even promote you? Do you know how difficult it is for them to go out into your entourage and even convince somebody who trusts them that they should actually speak to you? When the person asks questions like, okay, hard questions like, okay, but why that person and not that other person over there? Because they work with women aged 35 to 55. These questions will be answered through our work together. So here I've got a gauge, and I want you to be business owner C. I find that most people I work with, even though that they would want to, when you ask people hard questions, they all really want to turn around and tell you that it's not as bad as it looks, right? But I think most people end up being between this. This DCFM clients, this is doing crap for money. Doing crap for money clients. These are clients who, if it was up to you, you would not work with at all. But because they've got that, because they've got the money, you work with them anyway. Okay? Then you've got the okay clients. They've got the money. They're not really the most crappy kind of people to work with, but they bore you. beyond them paying you, so right, so basically these kind of doing crap for money clients, they're the ones that might ask for a refund, they're the ones that ask a bunch of questions, they're the ones that ask for discounts, they're the ones that will keep on trying to manipulate you in such a way that they end up getting whatever it is that you do for free. Okay, even if you work with them, it's going to be hell on earth. And I don't want your business to be full of toxic people. I want your business to be the same way you'll treat your home. There's certain people that if you know they're toxic, they've got toxic energy, they've got a toxic attitude, you're not letting them in your house. If they get in your house, it's by accident. And as soon as you know that they're in your house, you're going to try and get them out of your house. You need to treat your business the same way. And I know that when we're having to put food on the table, we're going to end up, I myself, I've had it. I have a lot less nowadays, but once in a while, I do have some DCFM clients. I almost think that the OK clients are worse because these ones can frustrate you. These ones can bore you because you just end up doing something monotonous for these kind of clients. They pay on time, but they don't really inspire you. Ideal clients, though, those are the ones that when you work with them, it's almost like you have those moments where you think to yourself, I can't believe I'm working with this person. I can't believe they're working with me. I can't believe I get to, you know, interact with this person for money. I've had that myself where I'm working with somebody and while I'm listening to them talk or while we're having a conversation or after I've had a conversation or even before the meeting starts, I'm just like, yeah, excited. Why shouldn't your business be full of people like that? So you're going to have some DCFM projects or clients or customers. You're definitely going to have some OK clients. I think the point we have to get to is where your OK clients, you either work with them to become ideal clients. It's not just about changing their character. It could also be you and what you're providing to them. Or the OK clients, you just realize that they're DCFM clients and as soon as possible, get rid of them. Okay, now, it's nothing for you to do today about it. What we're doing at the end of the day is building a foundation. We're looking forwards. And I want nothing more for you than for your business from the internal staff, which you should be thinking about based on the work that we were doing yesterday. From your internal staff to the people that come to your business, these should just be, we get used to just thinking that human beings are crappy, let us down, disappointing, and all this negative stuff. And it may be that the good ones, the good hearts, the good souls are rare. But I would say do everything you can to structure what you do in such a way that something within your business, marketing, all of the messaging you do, the way you conduct yourself, consistently works to bring the right people to you. Because once you have these people, ideal clients, customers, once you're interacting with them, you're going to naturally do the best work or provide the best service you ever had. They're going to be super happy. And what are they going to do if they're super, super happy? They're going to go out and tell the world about you. I still get notifications up until now from clients that I've worked on a project with from a little while ago, and my name will pop up and they're mentioning me. It's not me asking them to do it, and it's not me talking about blowing my own trumpet at this point. It's to talk to you about how marketing really works when you do this kind of work. You will get what we call marketing momentum. You know that whole old phrase of your reputation precedes you? That will happen. You know, when they used to talk about what they call it, information superhighway, I think they called it, when it talks about the internet, how information moves. So as your information is moving around it, and we'll talk later on at some point when it comes down to content and everything else. But as the information about you is moving through the internet, as you're working with more people who are ideal for you, you're going to build up a marketing momentum that means that your marketing becomes a lot easier. So you should be in a situation where people come to you, they're already in a shape, form, state of mind to work with you. And better yet, The ones that are not supposed to be anywhere from you or anywhere near you are repelled. And the way I like to think about this, especially when it comes down to people asking you for discounts or, trying to get your stuff for free, or just okay, there you go. Excuse me, that's child number two, I do think. So, or maybe it's the Amazon, whatever. So, when you have, oops, okay, so we're going to be talking today about how exactly you can start to identify your ideal client, because by doing that, you're going to have less time wasters and bargain hunters come to your business. And the way that I like to think about that is Louis Vuitton. Can you imagine somebody walking into Louis Vuitton, picking up one of the bags of £2,000, £3,000, finding a salesperson, makes me laugh every time, finding a salesperson and saying to that salesperson, yeah, I like this bag. Is there any way I can get it cheaper, or do you have a version of it that's a little less expensive? The shame that the person normally would feel by asking somebody within a company like Louis Vuitton to do that, I think is immense. Of course, there's some bold-faced people that you could imagine doing that, but that's not the way it works for that kind of business. They're set up in such a way, luxury, where if you can't, you just don't. You just don't enter in. You don't ask them anything. If you're not about it, if you can't pay for that, you just don't go in. You just don't. And I'm not trying to talk about luxury in a sense of elite kind of snobbery and whatnot. I'm just talking about you should ring fence your business through the work we're talking about so that nobody who is not for your business even thinks about coming close to it. And the other people who are the right kinds of people, we did the work yesterday when we were talking about the characteristics, the people you like working with. Through the work we're doing, through the work that you'll be doing, these kind of people, they will realize that that's the kind of person they need to work with. Back to the whole idea of clarity, back to the whole idea of you knowing what you want so that you actually can help people get what they want. All connected. So, your ideal client, as you've heard me say before, and I will continue to talk about, you should be focused only on two things. There are three things, but there are two things that I want you to focus on. I want you to forget the third thing. The third thing is the internal view of the business. It's what you sell, it's what you do. And once you get into this work, you'll probably realize that you don't actually have an ideal client. You don't actually have an ideal customer. You're actually out there just selling to anybody with the megaphone, just being like, anybody want it? It's over here. I'm doing my thing. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Some other people have got it. I don't really care if you want it. Whatever, pretending that it's not a problem for you. The other way to do things is to make sure that you actually do focus on a human being. One human being. One. You get this right for this one human being in the way we're talking about it, the riches and the success that you're looking for, it will become a lot easier to obtain. So you always need to be focused on their problem and their transformation. You need to be focused on the problem they have that they do not want, where they're at now. And it's interesting because I always have conversations once in a while with people. It's like, my clients don't have any problems. It's like, big. As soon as somebody is actually paying money for something, they're trying to solve a need. That money is precious, right? It's not falling from freaking trees. It's not pouring out of the tap. Retail therapy aside and whatnot, if you've got money and you're paying something, you're solving something by paying that money. Unless you're donating, and even then, it could be solving that guilty feeling that you've got about something or other. Not all the time, but the point is that there's a problem, there's a desire, there's a need. There's a need to get away from some kind of state and a desire to get to another state. Your job as a business owner is to focus on that one human being within what you do and really spend as much time as necessary to start understanding their problems and start understanding the transformation that is going to happen once they've solved that problem. It does not make a difference what you're selling. Now, I do know that we can have conversations about products. We can also have conversations about reselling something as an affiliate, or, when it comes to network marketing and so on and so forth. And I'm going to speak on this just now, real quick. Very important for you to understand that. I mean, you don't have to understand. I'm just going to tell you that for me, I don't work with affiliate marketers. I don't work with resellers. I only work with people who have their own business. I don't work with people who have another person's business that they're a part of. So, for example, someone comes to me and says to me, "Can you help me sell more Avon?" It's proper old school. Let me hit it again. Can you help me sell Mary Kay Cosmetics, aloe vera, right? PX90 exercise formula, whatever it is. I don't work with these people. Because the reason behind why people end up selling those kind of products isn't because they're nefarious or that they're not good people, whatever. It's just more to do with, it's a bit of a shortcut on the whole idea of, using your knowledge, skills, and expertise to build a business that helps transform other people's lives. Now, don't get me wrong. My mum did Avon. I'm totally aware of what's possible working within that kind of field. But if I was to work with those people, nothing in what I'm saying would change. You still need to think of one person. And because normally those people are trying to get, it's a numbers game, that's where there's a bit of a friction in doing this kind of work with those people. Because it's difficult for them to think about just one person. Because in actual fact, their whole business model is based on trying to get as many fish as possible, casting a massive net, getting as many fish as possible, and then passing them down the line of this network marketing, affiliate marketing kind of thing. But for the one that is serious about doing that and really understands that whatever they're selling, or believes, I should say, and has proof that what they're selling really does, not what they've been told, but really does have proof that it does transform lives, then they still need to do the work this way. One person. So we're going to think about things going forward based on point A, the problem that they have, your ideal client that is. We already know what kind of characteristics of the person: humorous, coachable, determined, respectful, all of those characteristics we went through yesterday. So now we're going to focus on what problem, the superhero, not even really the superhero. It's not really the superhero. I'd say it's more like the Alfred to the Batman rather than the Batman. The person that actually helps the other person be great is really how you need to think about things. That's your business. Rather than your business being the amazing superstar, flip that. The person you're trying to help is the amazing superstar. You're the business. Through what you do, you help them be amazing. That's the way you should look at it. To do that, you need to focus on what their problem is, where they're at the moment, and where they're trying to get to. Those are the two things you should focus on. Focus on understanding those two things so well that when you speak, when the person reads any of your marketing, when they hear it, they're going to be able to self-identify. Just like that. They're going to be able to self-identify it. It's going to be like, wow, you're in my mind. It's like you're reading my soul. These are the only two things you should be thinking about. Once you've got those two things down, once you understand those two things, then you can have a conversation about how your products and services get them from point A to point B. Now listen to the little voice that goes off in a lot of people's minds when we're at this point and at different points before. Yeah, hold on. I'll just what I'll decide to do is just throw my stuff into the website, the different products, and yeah, I'll just do that. Good luck. Back to the whole idea of probability. No strategy in there. That's what we call hope and pray marketing. It's what we call hope and pray business building. I hope and pray it works out. Whereas this, I'm thinking anything that really is important: holiday, birth of a child, throwing a party for a really important person, moving countries, changing jobs, getting a job. Takes a bit of planning, right? Especially if it's to do with putting money on the table. Okay, let's move into today's worksheet. Worksheet. Okay. And as usual, let's make it large, real large. So there are three parts to this. I'm not going to tell them. Not going to tell them that there's only three parts, but in actual fact, these only three parts is just like 5% of the work we actually do when we're working really on this work. Yeah, it is. It's only a small part of the work we do when we work on this section. But this whole thing has been designed, this 5 days to more online sales, to move you as a bit quicker towards that. Ideal client part one. I want it even a bit bigger. Cool. So the first thing I want you to look at are what are your strengths. And your strengths are based on what you like to do. And what I want you to do is think about whatever you sell. Think about you dealing with somebody face to face. Forget the internet. Forget websites. Just forget it. Think about you dealing with that person and they come to you and however it works, excuse me, could you help me? I've got this situation, I don't know if you'll be able to help, so blah, blah, blah. What are the steps that you would go through with that person from that point where they're a stranger to your business all the way through to them being a customer of your business? What are the steps you go through? I've got to sit down with them, talk to them about what they want. And again, if you've got a shop, an Etsy shop or whatever, try and imagine yourself in the market. Try and think of yourself in a marketplace. Think of somewhere, a shop. Think of somewhere where the person has to physically be there. Forget the internet. You can't out-geek me. But this part of the work it's important that we put the internet aside. Human to human. Let's focus on the human interaction. Empathy, strategy, technology. Empathy for yourself right now. So, what work or tasks that make up your business operations do you like to do? List them. Next, what are your weaknesses? What work or tasks do you not like to do? Just list them out. It's probably going to be quite a, therapeutic exercise to actually just list out all the stuff you don't like to do. Give yourself permission to just list it out. But list out all the stuff you don't like to do. A lot of the time what we do is we have what we call a matrix. So that's where you can see like a square is split up into 4 squares, and then we move them into urgent, important, and so on and so forth. But with this, what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at tasks that you don't want to do that are important. And those tasks we would then say as soon as possible, they need to be delegated. Somebody else needs to do them. Sometimes it's about you need to learn how to do something, especially if your business is quite new or there's not a lot of funds when it comes to actually hiring people. But the point is, we need to have a good idea right now of what tasks and what kind of work you like doing. And it's not just to do with your business, I should say in general as well. I think it's important for you to think about it in general, as well as through the lens of your business. What kind of work do you like to do? What kind of work do you not like to do? It may not be something you're utilized right now, but definitely throughout the work that we do, it becomes important for you to align what you like doing with what the market needs from a business like yours. So that if your business is to be successful, if you don't like doing something that is critical to fulfilling the market need, you need to get somebody else to do it. So if you don't like selling, if you don't like marketing, you need to get someone else to do it. There's no point you sitting there and trying to learn it from me. If you don't like it, there's nothing that I'm going to teach that's going to make you like it. You don't like it, you don't like it. It's just the way it is. Play to your strengths. What are the common characteristics of your top 5 customers? So we've already done this work. So if you wanted to be super lazy, see how things connect. But if you want to be super lazy, you could just copy and paste the work that you did from the homework. Hint, hint. You could just copy and paste it in here. That will work. If you haven't done the homework, check out how it works. Certain questions get repeated. Tricky like that. Certain questions get repeated as we go through because either they're going to reinforce something you've already done as far as homework and it starts to become part of your DNA. Again, it makes marketing and putting your message out there a lot easier. It's just like breathing or speaking, it just flows out of you. Or if you're in it for the long run and we're paying attention to how human beings can be, try and shortcut it, try and be lazy, then yeah, certain important questions will roll around again. Be like, I tried to skip that question, it's here again. And it will come again because it's important for you to answer it. So, what are the common characteristics of your top 5 customers, clients? Now, if you don't have customers or clients, and I mean that in the sense of your new business, you don't have any. You're an existing business and because of pandemic, whatever, you don't currently have any. Or because you've got a shop and you just want to make money without dealing with human beings type thing, and it's just supposed to go cha-ching in the back office as people buy your stuff, you don't have any clients, then I would like you to think about people you've worked with at work. And if then you still are just like, I work or whatever, and you still don't, then you have to look at friends and family. But the point is, we need to focus on the common characteristics of your top most favorite clients or top family members, whatever. We need to work out what those are. And again, you will find you're totally correct. It's exactly the same question that we had yesterday, turned another way. So if you did the homework, copy and paste. If you didn't, you're gonna have to answer eventually. What we got? Comedy is intangible. Yeah, what I do is intangible. Consulting, coaching. People try their best to put it on the website, but it's not really about that. I don't build websites. I have other people that build websites and funnels and stuff and take care of fulfillment. My work is this. It's intangible. But regardless, for me, it took me time. Sometimes I didn't have anything apart from time, right? If you're not making money and you're not doing whatever it is that you do, you can never be too busy for this work, first of all. But I have time, so I'm working through it. I tell you when, intangible or not, I tell you when it really got a lot easier for me speaking to people. So I don't know if I've already told you this, but one of the biggest wins, quantum leaps in my business that I made was when I set up a whole marketing funnel, a whole marketing system, which when you look at it out in the face of it, it's to get clients. But in actual fact, it was just to draw people in to speak to them, find out things from them, and then use that information to build a business. So regardless of what it is, if comedy is intangible, I'd speak to 100 people about why they like going to comedy shows or whatever it is. That's what I would do. I would speak to 100 people. I didn't say to you as quickly as possible. I didn't say take as long as possible. I'd speak to 100 people. I'd ask them, not what I think the reason is, but ask them, why do they pay for comedy shows? Why did they go to, what was the last comedy show you went to? That one. Why did you pick that one? What were the points in the comedy show where you thought to yourself, oh, this is a waste of time? What kind of comedy do you like? There'll be a whole bunch of questions that I'd think about that I'd ask them. The more that I do that with people, the more I get an idea of what they're trying to solve by doing it. When we go on holiday and my wife says something about all inclusive, I know there's two things I know that she wants to, two problems she's got that she doesn't want to have to deal with. Cooking, and before we go any further, I cook too. But cooking, cleaning, her thing is to get away from that. It's to get away from doing all that. So all inclusive. So all inclusive as a actual bundle for hotels or whatever resorts, from their point of view and the way that they then market it, it has to be part of that involved. Same thing for going to restaurants. Okay, so we've just had Gusto delivered. Yeah, it's like the recipe boxes. Solve the problem. What was the problem? We like eating food, but it's not that we don't like cooking, but we're limited on the amount of things we know how to cook because we're not chefs. And we don't also want to spend our time going through the internet, downloading these things and realizing that, oh, rubbish, this one's missing a piece or that doesn't make sense or whatever it is. So we've gone with Gusto. Solved everything. We pay them, they send the ingredients, they send the recipe. I understand the whole idea behind intangible in that sense, but get away from the thought of what you do and focus on what is the what would you say is driving their purchase of what you do. But forget intangible and tangible. Just think about what is their reason for taking their money out of their wallet or their purse. What are 5 problems that your product or service solves? Oops, so sorry about that. That's exactly the same thing you're going to be thinking about every single time. And it will get you away from these things that are trying to set you in a loop. You know, the figure 8 on its side, an infinity loop. You're asking your brain's asking questions that are going to keep you in a loop. If you're thinking about what problems they're going through, you have to seek them out to ask them. You have to. And once you seek them out and you speak to them, oh, there's amazing things happening all at once. One, they're getting to understand your expertise. They're having a conversation with somebody who really does care about them. You're finding out about their problems. It's magical. There's none of this in a vacuum rubbish. It's not going to work. The internet, as beautiful as it is, it's also, I think, stunted the growth of a lot of businesses because all they think about is being behind the screen and the keyboard and pushing stuff, and it feels like stuff's happening. Talk to your people. If you're really about it, if it's really what you want to do, talk to those people, find them, speak to them, ask them. Just like a reporter, that's all your job is. It's not to find out, so you don't even think about the sale right now. What's happened up until now when you have been thinking about trying to get the sale? Has it worked out? No. Let's try something different. Focus on them. What are 5 problems that your product or services solve? Describe these from your customer's point of view and how they feel. And when we're talking about problems, I want you to think about things in such a way like, it frustrates me when I wish if only such and such, I can't work out. I want you to think about the problems in those kind of ways. Try and thinking about them from their point of view and how they feel. There's going to be emotion, frustration, overwhelm, confusion. Try and work it out. And when you're thinking about those problems, let's just go back to the whole thing about soap or skincare, whatever. It's simple. I want to look beautiful. I don't feel confident in my skin. That could be driving somebody to go and buy this new soap. Not because you're exploiting that thought and the soap isn't going to do anything, but you know that that's what they care about most. It's not the soap. I don't want to go any further with that, but you should be able to understand that there's a whole beautiful, magical, transformational business you can build around that information that deep about the reason why that person's even looking for the soap. And then there's the other business that just hopes somebody will come along and buy it. It's just a choice, isn't it? Business A, business B, business owner A, business owner B, business owner C. What I'm going to do then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can write them out here, you stick them in here, and then I want you to think about, remember what we spoke about earlier. I want you to think about where they will be once that problem is solved. Don't allow your brain to start thinking about, like a split screen picture in picture situation as you all happy with your money that you've made from them buying a thing, and there's them all happy, whatever. Forget that. Just focus on them. Think about what their life is going to be like once they've solved that problem. What's it like when they're more confident? What's it like when they're less stressed and they can play with their kids or be with their family or whatever? What's it like where when they book um, at the comedy place and they take the first person, they take their most favorite person to their first comedy show? What's it going to be like for them to sit there and have the person beside them, you know, while they're laughing and they're laughing? What's it going to feel like inside saying, I knew they'd love it? What's that going to be like? What's it going to be like for them once they've introduced that person to that comedy show and that person gets an itch for them, goes out and then comes back to them with a comedian they've never heard of before? What's that going to be like? Oh my God, now she's... It's not easy work. It's important work. It's not easy. £1,000 each month. I don't see why it should be easy. I know a lot of people that get paid 60, 70, £150,000 a year, and that's corporate. They ain't none of there's no sense of easy in what they're doing. It's important work. There's people out there that need your help. Seriously, not all of them are in a situation where they're trapped in something, you have to save them like MacGyver. I'm not talking about that kind of business. I'm just saying that within what you're doing, either your business helps their life improve or it doesn't. If it doesn't help their life improve, you need to get a lot deeper on exactly why they need to be improved. You need to get a lot deeper on what it's going to be like once their life is going to be improved. That's what you should focus on. And here, remember, describe these, because this should be a copy and paste from up here, really. But make sure you describe these from your customer's point of view and how they feel. Okay, so that's part one. Just part one. Part two. I want you to select one. What's that say? Select one of a problem. One of a problem. Let's just... What? Yeah. I want you to select one problem from the list. Did I have a... I should have a thing in there. Basically, what I'm trying to get at here from your list, I want you to make sure that you only do part two once you've done part one. Everything's connected. Don't try and skip ahead. You have to just go back afterwards. Select one problem from your list. Reasons of certain comedy stress. I'm telling you, man. For me, it's that. I can tell you just on that before we move on to that. Roots. When I'm looking for comedy, like what was the last one that I watched? It might have been a Kevin Hart thing I watched with my wife or something else. I can't remember. But when I searched that out, I want to feel better. I'm not bad. I'm not like in the like watch comedy and I'm happy. But I can tell you that somewhere deep down in my soul, I want to feel better. I want to feel extra better. I like comedy, so I might as well help you here. I know that you've got bare people you can speak to, but while we're on it, I want to feel better. That's what I can tell you. And it's not even like because I'm rock bottom. It's just that I want to feel extra better. There's like, it's almost like the comedy and real comedy, because sometimes I'm like, I put it on and I watch it and it's not that funny and I'm really upset. So there's a problem, isn't there? That's not even what I was thinking about, but there's a problem. You could be solving a problem of making sure that they're never... Trust me, man. I don't know if you've even thought about that, but that feeling that you get when you think it's going to be funny and it's not, man, that to me is soul shattering. Even if I don't do 5 minutes, the fact that I'm picturing you're not funny, you're not funny. The fact that I'm picturing you're not funny, that's upsetting to me. That's a problem. That's a problem that I want to be solved by comedy, is that I go along and it's actually freaking funny. And obviously comedy can have a taste and the rest of it, but yeah, there's some kind of comedy that's universal to a certain extent. Anyway, I want to feel better. I want to go from, I'm already quite high, but I want to be on, I don't know, endorphins level, something like that. So I can tell you that, yeah, you're on the right track when you're starting to think about the emotions that are touched with comedy before, during, after. So select one problem from your list, and then I want you to think about what are the five. Let me just stick that in there. Step. Okay, what are the 5 to 10 main steps for solving that problem? So again, I want you to think about this. I want you to focus on one problem, and then I want you to imagine that you're sitting with that person in your house, around a coffee table, or in a cafe, wherever it might be. They've come to you, and imagine that they're telling you you've got this problem. You're the expert. You don't know what they've done before. You don't know what they've done about solving that problem up until now, but you're the expert. You're the friend that's also an expert. What would you tell them? What would you do? What would you ask them? What would be the steps you'll go through to help them solve that problem? That's what I want you to put down here. What promise can be made about how you or your product solve that problem? So once we know how we're going to solve the problem in those steps, then I want you to start thinking about what could you, I don't use guarantees in my business, but just to illustrate the point, what could you guarantee them is going to happen if they use you, work with you, or buy from you to solve this particular problem in this particular way? What can you promise? What can you guarantee them? Super important. Again, none of this work deserves a short answer from you. A quick answer, quick case. What's the next thing? It's not going to work. Go in deep. A lot of the time when I'm doing this work with people one-to-one and they send their answers back to me, I look for what I call the goosebump effect. So when I'm reading it, do I get goosebumps? If I don't, I send the work back. Because those goosebumps for me are a result of me reading something deep inside a person's will to use their skills, their knowledge to make somebody else's life better. Life better. And that really, when I read it, every single time, different industries, goosebumps. It puts me in a state where I'm saying to myself, you see that person there? If we work together, I'm gonna treat them like it's my mum's business. I'm gonna do everything I can to help that, because not only can I see it's gonna help them, I can see it's gonna help other people. So when you're doing this work, don't skip it. Don't do academics and just try and get it done and finished. You sure you've read every question? Yeah, I need to get away from it. This is about you first, your business, the people you're actually going to be serving. So it's important for you to really go in. Okay, so what promise can be made about how you or your product solve that problem? So before they come across your way of doing things, which should be unique, especially because it involves you and there's only one you in the world, what would we say would be the old way of solving that problem? I don't want to get too deep on it, but comedy, if I'm feeling not so happy about myself, or I want to feel a bit happy about myself on a personal level, and I'm not going for the comedy, an old way, I say old way, and I'll just say alternative as well. An alternative way of solving that problem could be having a drink. Could even be just going to sleep. But it doesn't really solve it. So when you're answering this question, I want you to think about what is an old way of doing it, which you know doesn't work for that problem, or what is an alternative way, but you are again knows does, and it might work, but for a short amount of time. It might be short-lived. Doesn't really hit the mark. To solving that, what is an old way alternative to solving that problem? Grammarly, just learn things every single day. Okay, so again, select one problem from your list. What are 5 to 10 main steps for solving that problem? What promise can be made about how you or your product solve that problem? What is an old way or alternative way to solving that problem? And then finally, what will your customer be able to do? What will they become? How will their life be impacted after buying working with you? Copy and paste time. Picked a problem, did the work, copy and paste. Okay. Part 3. Only do this after you've completed all of part 2. I'm going to move that. I'm going to put another one right here. I know what you're thinking. I'm end up doing that for all of the homework, right? Don't do this until you've done that. Okay, part 3. This is big. This is at the point where I can say, yeah, if you do this, send it along to me. Let me hear it. Once you've done part 2, I want you to grab your smartphone and I want you to record your voice or record a video if you're comfortable. Not at all an obligation. If you do video though, we can do some amazing things. Marketing, blog posts, all kind of things become a lot easier. Why? Because the video can be turned into video training. The audio can be turned into audio training. The audio can be used in a slideshow presentation where nobody's on screen, just the words. The audio from the video can also be transcribed, and then we can get a proofreader or a content writer to turn that into a blog post, a piece of content, an ebook can be sent out. Look at where we're at though when we start talking about technical stuff. Look at all the work we've done before, and look how, if you've heard it, becomes a lot easier once we start touching empathy strategy, the technology part. So anyway, grab your smartphone, record your voice, or record a video if you're comfortable, talking through each step you listed above. So again, imagine that you're talking to somebody, a friend of yours. It's better that you imagine somebody that you get on with, right? If you find it really difficult to do that, then I suggest that you get somebody who can play along nicely and not upset you while you're doing it. People can have the best intentions, and what you do is you get them to. What I would do is I would kind of like write out a script, and I would say to them that I want them to read this first part, and that first part would be them explaining the problem. So you'll take the time to write the script which says, "Hi, whatever. My problem is such and such. Can you help me?" And then from that point, I would then start talking through how to do that, how to solve that problem. Sorry. And what I would ask that person to do, that's why I'm saying the right person, is to continue asking me why or how at the right times. Or if you don't just say why and how, it's smacked in the face. It's gonna be too annoying. But at certain points, they're going to be asking you to go a bit deeper. So how do you do that? Why do you do that? You're going to carry on talking. One of the best ways to get your knowledge out. Okay, so if you're unable to do it by yourself, get somebody to do a role play with you. Point being, set the recording device down or set up the camera and record it. And you don't have to be looking at the camera, by the way. If you set up the camera like this and you're talking to the person and saying to them, yeah, so what I would do is I would then do this and I would do that and whatever. That works as well because that kind of video can be edited and it works like an interview where the person's being interviewed, the interview is off screen. So that's totally possible. It doesn't have to be like this to the screen. But the point is, once you hit record, do not press stop until you finished all the points. So if at any point you make a mistake in what you're saying, say mistake. There's 3 things. One I haven't put here because I think if I put it here without the training, it's like it wouldn't make sense. But you either say mistake, so mistake, and then you go right back into repeating what you're going to say. The other thing you can do is if you make a mistake, clap twice or click twice. Or the other thing you can do if you're recording a video is just wave in front of the screen. If it's audio, when you go into this is technical geekery now, but the reason why we do this is that if it's audio and you go into editing software, you'll see the spikes in audio where you clicked or you clapped, or as you're scrubbing through, which is just to pull along the audio, so it's just like through. You'll hear when it will say mistake, and you'll know to cut that piece out, and right after it is the correct text or sentence. And also for video, if you wave in front of the screen like that when you're recording, when you're editing it, you'll see those points where you wave in front of the screen, and you'll know that before I waved was a mistake, right after it is the actual part that's correct. Point being is that that's not your work to do, business owner. I'm just showing you things that make it easier for you to collaborate with people who do actually do that kind of work. So that's how my team help other people build out training material, videos, and so on and so forth, because we teach them how to do this kind of thing. And all they have to do is just spit it. They just have to let it all go out. Okay, and then we take care of the editing behind the screens. Okay. Right, so I think I just mentioned that, Jennifer, but no, don't. I mean, this isn't, and that's what I mean. The whole thing with the brain and the way it works, this is not a finished thing when you're doing the recording like that, right? When you've got the smartphone. So you don't have to worry about if you take a pause to think. I do it when I'm doing recordings and I'm making videos. I probably have to do a video about it once in a while when I'm showing you what I do to make the videos that I make and they get edited. But if I'm thinking, or sometimes I've got a script, because a lot of the times when I'm doing, even when I'm doing this, of course, this makes it a lot more, how can I say, interactive, not interactive. What was more thinking about? Engaging. Of course, the slides and whatever make it more engaging for you, but they also act, hint, hint, as prompts for me. So when I see it, I know what it is I'm going to talk about. So a lot of the time when you're doing videos and stuff like this, you've got a script, you've got something that you're going to be flowing through, or points, right? And at a certain point, if I was recording this, like it's being recorded now, I might want to stop talking, because at that point when I was recording it, I just realized that actually those should be bold, right? So I stopped talking, and then when I'm editing it, I would just actually, for that slide, I'll just go back to before I show that slide, and then all you'll know is the text was always bold. So what I'm trying to get at is, once you hit record, even if you have to pause and then carry on writing or whatever, do that. What I don't want you to do is hit pause, because pause will lead to stop. It will lead to stop. Pause will lead to stop. And you'll be on a thing that's like, oh, let me go away and write my notes again and then start recording. It literally just, you won't. It's better for you to do it in one go. Plus, it will get you used to doing it. So every time you hit record, just let it roll. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. It's a lot, huh? Okay, so as always, worksheet will be sent through in about half an hour or so. Okay. Recording will be in the group with the worksheets. The worksheets will be sent to you by email. So you'll be getting the email with the worksheets, and that's what should be happening. So if you haven't been doing that, then please do start doing that. The worksheets are, you'll get them easier. No, sorry, you'll get them quicker by email than you do in the group. Okay. And the worksheets are only available in the group. As always, if you've got any questions, ask them in the group. So after I finish recording today and there's questions that are on the comments for this video, for example, you're going to see I'm going to ask you to ask that question in the group, because again, you'll probably be asking a question that the answer will be useful to other people. One, I don't want to turn any of my other pages into some kind of customer service help kind of situation, support system. And then plus, we're doing this as a community, so I want to make sure that any questions you ask get answered in there, because a lot of the time I'll probably be doing a video anyway. Okay. Yeah. So Rudes, yeah, everything for you is Gmail. If anything with the liquid one, it might be firing out, but at the moment, all I know is that everything's been sent to your Gmail, so don't worry about that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your attention. I know that was a lot. We're a bit over than an hour, just a little bit, but this is super important. So day 4 tomorrow, and yeah, this is where they say the rubber hits the road for the last 2 sessions. So thank you a lot. I really like this. I mean, I like all of it, but I really like this part. This is where certain things get unlocked, man. What I can tell you is that if you do this, whoever is in the same industry as you, you can be guaranteed they've not done it this deep. You can be guaranteed that they're struggling in the same way as you, right? And as always, if you know anybody that could benefit from the work we're doing together, share it with them. Share the love. Let them know. Okay? Good, good. All right, so I'm off. Thank you so much, and see you either in the group or see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.